Today we'll talk about a vending machine that spits out short stories. The first dispenser in the United States was at famed director Francis Ford Coppola's San Francisco Cafe in 2016. The reason, it makes people happy. Joining me right now to tell us more about it is Loïc Giraut, Business Development Manager of Short Edition. What does Short Edition do?
Hi, Short Edition is a French-based company, what we call a community publisher. Community publisher because we have a website where anybody can submit poetry, short stories, flash fiction, comic strips. And we select the very best stories thanks to the help of the community. So we have people voting, we have a board of great readers that help us identify the best stories, edit them, select the very best one that we then place in the machines.
Okay.
The company was created in 2011, and we created this short story dispenser at the end of 2015 as a way to promote the works coming from this platform, bring literature where you don't expect it, and engage communities through reading and writing.
So you've got 3 buttons on the machine, and they say 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. That's the length of time it would take to read?
Exactly. When we first created the machine, we thought it was made for people waiting, but then we realized that it could apply to very different types of other situations. But we first think of it for people waiting. So we did, if you have 1 minute waiting, 3 minute waiting, or 5 minute waiting, we did those 3 buttons.
And that's it. So if you press the 1 minute button, let's see, if we're all connected here.
The machine connects to the website, selects a random story for you, based on the selection we made before. And
that's it.
That's it.
So it looks like a grocery store receipt, and this is a totally new story. This one is called In Her Bubble by Alicia Buffet, and this would take me about a minute to read through. I have another one that you've gift wrapped for me beautifully. I read it this morning on the way in here. It's fantastic. So what was the point? I mean, why design this in the first place?
We think that literature and reading should be available to all, without having to pay, without having to go somewhere specific. It should be available for all in the city. So we thought that we should bring literature where you don't expect it. So at a local train station, at a local airport, and we work a lot with hospitals as well.
So you have these out now. Where are they? Yes. How many are there?
So we started in France about 1.5 years ago. We have now 160 locations in France.
160 in France?
In France. Train stations, hospitals, shopping centers. We work with cities as well. And in the US, it started a little bit mid-2016. We first received an email from Francis Ford Coppola, which was a big surprise, but of course we responded. And he was actually our first customer in the US. And thanks to him, we had a lot of articles. And then we started working with universities, with public libraries, and we now have 65 locations in the US.
65 locations in the US. And who pays for it? Is it sponsored?
It's, well, in a university, we work with academic libraries, for example. So the university will pay the machines. We can develop a website for them, for their students to write, be published on campus, and the best of them can even be published internationally. In this particular case, we worked with the Knight Foundation and the Public Library Association.
Sure.
So Knight Foundation funded the Public Library Association to buy 12 machines. We then selected 4 participating libraries that all received free dispensers, and then we organized a nationwide writing contest for everybody to submit and be published in those 12 dispensers.
So this means that this is a sponsorship opportunity for any academic institution, corporation.
Exactly.
And this could stand in a public place. How many stories do you have inside your entire library?
So in total on the website, and if I count the French stories, we have 110,000 short stories.
110,000 short stories,
but of course, not all of them have a sufficient quality to go in.
Okay.
So we make we have an editorial team in France with US people as well that selects the stories, edit them, work with the authors to improve them, and select only maybe the 5% best to go in the dispensers.
So this one is sorted by time. What about in places where they speak multiple languages?
So when we started in France, we first translated our catalog to English. Now we work with English-speaking authors. Our objective is to have more and more languages available. We started working in Switzerland, for example, where they speak 4 languages. So it was a bit of an issue for us at the beginning, but finally we we gathered a little bit of German content, and we had 3 buttons. Instead of having 1, 3, and 5 minutes, we have French, English, and German.
Sure, so you can make the choices whatever you want.
Exactly. And our next objective now is to develop a Spanish catalog, because we know that Spanish is a important language in the US. Very
Yeah. So what have you found? I mean, what's the feedback been like?
It's quite incredible, actually. We received tons of tweets, of Instagram posts, of people asking for the machines to be installed in their city, because we had incredible responses from children, from their families. We work with schools now in order to encourage the pleasure of reading for young people, and same thing, we had incredible responses from both teachers and children.
And how much does it actually cost to support one machine?
You mean to buy a machine?
Or to have one. So say, for example,
Yeah.
if I'm an institution and I want one of these machines, if I'm a high school, I want to encourage short story writing.
Yeah. So we have different prices based on if you are a non-profit or profit organization, but more or less it's around, you buy the machine with customization and paper walls, it's around $9,000.
Okay.
And then you have a subscription to the content, the access to a dashboard, and the right also. What's important for us is to change the content over time.
Yeah.
So for example, we did a Valentine's Day operation with only romance stories. We're going to do International Women's Day with female catalogs, female authors only.
Yeah.
National Poetry Month. So this is part of the subscription, which is $200 a month.
$200 a month
Yeah.
and $9,000 up front for the box.
Exactly. And then when it's yours, you only have the subscription and the maintenance.
And you got to buy the paper.
And you have so you have 12 paper rolls from the beginning, and then we can
Right.
we can send you new paper rolls.
Can you do this with grocery store receipts? Because I don't know if you don't shop in the U.S., but if you go to like a Best Buy or a Costco, it's like this long
Yes.
to get $4, and I mean, it just seems like such a waste of paper. And sometimes on the
agree.
back they have coupons for you to buy more stuff, but this would be so much better.
Well, yeah, we agree, but I think I don't know if you can feel it, but we worked on the paper that is really
It's more
qualitative,
sturdy.
yeah, more sturdy
Yeah.
than receipts.
And it's not going to fade as fast.
I think it is a good idea actually, but we have to talk with them about it. But we would love to actually.
That's fine. So your best case scenario, 5 years, 10 years from now, where do you see these?
We would love, so we see this in every public spaces. We think it should be available in every city, every library. We were very surprised when we came to the US that libraries are so very different from France, because they do so much for the community. They are not sticking to their role of keeping books, but they go and try to create connection within the community. So we would love to work with more public libraries, with more academic libraries, to bring the short story dispenser in the cities, and have local communities submit for their short story dispenser. We think writing and reading is the first step to create to talk to people, to create a community. So I think it's really important that. And our next objective is to develop other languages, and then have people from Australia being read in the US, have people from Colombia being read in France, being able to translate some stories, and really have like global community of writers and readers, and offer the possibility to readers to read either local fiction, national fiction, or international fiction.
Well, you don't, in the United States, if you've been watching the news, you could just have a button that says red states and blue states, and have people kind of across political divides read each other's work and see commonalities. It's a really interesting idea. And is there is this a private company?
Yes, we are. So it's a private company based in France. We just opened the US subsidiary 6 months ago, and our objective now is to open an office in the US within 1 year.
All right. Good luck, Loïc Giraut.